Welcome to an exploration of the Integrated Personality Model, a comprehensive framework for understanding human personality. At the heart of this model are 7 distinct personality types, each representing a unique combination of traits and characteristics. The model integrates 4 major psychological components. First, let's look at attachment styles, which form the foundation of our emotional relationships. Next, we incorporate Erikson's developmental stages, which describe how personality evolves through life challenges. Communication patterns represent how individuals express themselves and interact with others. Finally, defense mechanisms show how people cope with stress and anxiety. These components are interconnected, each influencing and shaping the others in complex ways. The power of this model lies in its integration of multiple psychological dimensions. Each personality type represents a unique combination of these components, creating distinct patterns of behavior and interaction. These components don't exist in isolation. They constantly interact and influence each other throughout our lives. Personal development occurs across multiple dimensions simultaneously, affecting how we think, feel, and behave. To truly understand personality, we need to consider all these elements together, not just in isolation. This integrated approach provides a rich framework for understanding. Welcome to Understanding Navigator Types. These personality patterns shape how we process information and relate to others. Navigator types represent fundamental patterns in how people approach life, relationships, and decision-making. Let's explore the 3 main navigator types: secure, rational, and empathetic. The secure navigator exhibits emotional stability and confidence, maintaining clear boundaries and a balanced perspective on life. The rational navigator approaches life with logic and efficiency, preferring systematic methods and analytical thinking. The empathetic navigator leads with emotional sensitivity and intuition, naturally attuned to others' feelings and needs. Each navigator type processes information in their own unique way. Secure navigators balance emotional and logical inputs to make stable decisions. Rational navigators focus on data and facts, systematically analyzing information. Empathetic navigators process information through an emotional and intuitive lens. Let's examine the core personality traits of each navigator type. Secure navigators demonstrate confidence and emotional stability in their interactions. Rational navigators exhibit logical thinking and organizational skills. Empathetic navigators show strong emotional awareness and natural caring tendencies. Now that we understand the 3 navigator types, we can explore how they communicate and interact. Each navigator type has their own unique way of communicating. Secure navigators communicate with confidence and emotional balance. They express themselves clearly while remaining open to others' perspectives. Rational navigators focus on facts and logic. They prefer structured, analytical discussions that lead to clear solutions. Empathetic navigators prioritize emotional understanding. They excel at creating safe spaces for open dialogue. Let's see how each type handles a team project disagreement. The secure navigator addresses the conflict directly while maintaining emotional balance. The rational navigator analyzes the situation objectively and presents logical solutions. The empathetic navigator focuses on understanding everyone's feelings and needs. Each navigator type has their own approach to building and maintaining relationships. Secure navigators build trust through direct communication and clear boundaries. Rational navigators create stability through structured dialogue and clear expectations. Empathetic navigators foster connection through emotional support and active listening. Each navigator type faces unique challenges in their personal growth journey. To overcome these challenges, we can implement specific growth strategies tailored to each type. When adapting to different navigator types, consider these specific techniques for each personality. Building bridges between different navigator types requires intentional effort and understanding. Incorporate these daily exercises to develop your adaptability and strengthen relationships. Remember these key points for building successful relationships across all navigator types. Your journey to better relationships starts now. Keep practicing these strategies to grow and connect with others. Emotional guardian personality type develops through specific patterns of early childhood experiences and attachment. During the crucial early years of development, from birth to age 5, certain patterns of caregiving shape the emotional guardian traits. The foundation begins with inconsistent caregiving patterns, where parental attention and emotional availability fluctuate unpredictably. This inconsistency leads to heightened emotional sensitivity and an increased need for security and validation. Over time, these experiences create a pattern of seeking external validation and approval from others. Let's examine specific parenting behaviors that contribute to this development. Parents may alternate between being overprotective and emotionally distant, showing inconsistent emotional availability and providing conditional love and approval. These parenting patterns have specific impacts on the child's emotional development. The child develops hypervigilance to others' emotions, forms insecure attachment patterns, and establishes a strong need for external validation. These early experiences lay the groundwork for the emotional guardian's core characteristics and behaviors. Emotional guardians possess several distinct characteristics that shape their interactions and relationships. Their deep empathy allows them to naturally tune into and understand others' emotional states. This is complemented by their inherently supportive nature, always ready to help others in need. However, their strong desire to please others can lead to challenges in maintaining personal boundaries. These characteristics manifest in various daily scenarios. In the workplace, emotional guardians often take on additional responsibilities to help struggling colleagues. In social situations, they might agree to plans despite feeling exhausted, prioritizing others' happiness over their own needs. Within family dynamics, they often become mediators, suppressing their own needs to maintain harmony. Their communication patterns often reflect their people-pleasing tendencies. Passive communication is common, avoiding direct expression of needs or concerns. They may use indirect expression to hint at their feelings without causing potential conflict. Conflict avoidance is another key pattern, often deflecting or postponing difficult conversations. Boundary challenges manifest in various areas of life. Personal boundaries are often compromised as they struggle to decline requests for their time and energy. Emotional boundaries become blurred as they take on others' emotional burdens as their own. In professional settings, they often extend themselves beyond their job responsibilities, potentially leading to burnout. The emotional guardian personality type manifests in 3 distinct ways, each with unique characteristics and behaviors. The involved guardian is deeply committed to others' well-being, often taking on excessive responsibilities and struggling to maintain personal boundaries. Next, we have the spiritual guardian, who seeks deeper meaning in relationships and emphasizes emotional and personal growth. Finally, the introverted guardian provides quiet, consistent support from the background, preferring one-on-one interactions and subtle ways of helping. Let's examine how these subtypes manifest in different social situations. In a group project, the involved guardian typically takes charge, ensuring everyone's needs are met while potentially overextending themselves. When supporting a friend in crisis, the spiritual guardian focuses on emotional healing and deeper understanding of the situation. In an office environment, the introverted guardian quietly notices and addresses unspoken needs, providing support without drawing attention. Each subtype develops distinct patterns in their relationships. The involved guardian maintains active engagement and constant support in relationships. Spiritual guardians prioritize deep emotional connections and meaningful exchanges. Introverted guardians offer consistent but subtle support, often working behind the scenes. The emotional guardian's anxious attachment style significantly impacts their relationships in various ways. Their relationships are characterized by intense emotional investment and a constant need for validation. One of their primary challenges is maintaining healthy boundaries, often allowing others to cross their personal limits. In professional settings, emotional guardians often struggle with assertiveness and setting work-life boundaries. In personal relationships, emotional guardians often engage in patterns of overthinking, people-pleasing, and self-sacrifice. Their relationships are often characterized by an imbalance of giving and receiving emotional support. Let's explore practical strategies for emotional guardians to develop healthier patterns. These therapeutic approaches can help address underlying patterns and develop new skills. Daily exercises help build consistent growth and self-awareness. Emotional regulation tools provide practical ways to manage intense feelings. Remember, growth is a journey, not a destination. Take small steps, practice self-compassion, and celebrate your progress along the way. Thank you for joining us on this journey of understanding and growth. Early childhood experiences shape the foundation of the Analytical Monk personality type. Inconsistent emotional responses in childhood create a pattern of uncertainty. In response, the child develops a unique way of processing emotions through intellectual analysis. This creates a pattern where emotional experiences are transformed into analytical understanding. Through attachment theory, we understand how emotional distance becomes a protective mechanism. This protective distance leads to the formation of a highly analytical approach to life experiences. This pattern of intellectual analysis becomes a fundamental way of processing and understanding emotional experiences. The core characteristics of the Analytical Monk personality type center around emotional detachment and rational analysis. These individuals develop a unique pattern of processing experiences through intellectual analysis rather than emotional engagement. They develop exceptional observational skills, systematically collecting and analyzing information before taking action. Their responses to situations are characteristically measured and thoughtful, maintaining emotional distance while maximizing analytical clarity. This careful balance between analytical processing and emotional distance creates a distinctive pattern of interaction with the world. Their strong analytical abilities allow them to process complex situations with remarkable clarity and precision. The Analytical Monk personality manifests in 3 distinct forms, each with unique characteristics while maintaining the core analytical nature. From this central type, 3 distinct subtypes emerge, each representing a different expression of the analytical personality. The intellectual monk channels their analytical energy into the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. The reclusive monk finds clarity and comfort in solitude, preferring minimal social interaction to maintain their analytical perspective. The creative monk processes their analytical nature through artistic endeavors, maintaining emotional distance while expressing through creative means. The intellectual monk typically engages in activities that deepen their understanding through systematic study and research. The reclusive monk creates environments that support their need for solitude and deep reflection. The creative monk expresses their analytical nature through various artistic mediums while maintaining emotional objectivity. Each subtype represents a unique manifestation of the analytical personality while sharing the core trait of emotional distance and systematic thinking. The Analytical Monk type develops specific coping mechanisms for navigating life's challenges. Their primary approach involves systematic analysis of situations, breaking down complex problems into manageable components. This analysis is integrated into a rational framework, providing structure and stability. Finally, this structured approach leads to clear, well-reasoned decisions. Self-reliance is built upon multiple interconnected resources. These resources include accumulated knowledge, personal experience, logical reasoning, and keen observation skills. Their rational framework provides a stable foundation for processing information and making decisions. This framework enables them to maintain emotional distance while engaging in clear, objective analysis. These coping mechanisms and strategies particularly benefit them in professional settings. They excel in fields requiring detailed observation, systematic analysis, and objective decision-making. The Analytical Monk's personality significantly impacts various areas of life. Their analytical nature provides several key strengths in professional and personal contexts. However, they often face specific challenges in emotional and interpersonal domains. The key to personal development lies in integrating both analytical and emotional aspects. This integration follows a growth path of awareness, understanding, acceptance, and finally, true integration. Success comes from maintaining a balance between analytical strengths and emotional awareness. This balanced approach manifests in practical ways, such as active listening in relationships, incorporating emotional awareness in decision-making, and taking a balanced approach to problem-solving. By embracing both analytical and emotional aspects, the analytical monk can achieve greater personal fulfillment and more meaningful connections. Charismatic dramatic personality type begins forming in early childhood, typically between ages 0 to 6. During these formative years, children experience an inconsistent emotional environment where support and attention fluctuate unpredictably. This inconsistent emotional environment leads to the development of heightened sensitivity to emotional stimuli. To navigate this unpredictable emotional landscape, children develop various coping mechanisms. These early experiences create a strong need for external validation as the child learns to rely on others for emotional stability. These early developmental patterns lay the foundation for the core characteristics of the charismatic dramatic personality. The charismatic dramatic personality is characterized by several distinct core traits that shape their interactions and relationships. Their powerful presence naturally draws others in, creating an immediate impact in any social situation. They experience and express emotions with remarkable intensity, feeling everything deeply and passionately. Their natural talent for self-expression manifests through creative and often dramatic communication styles. They create significant emotional impact in their environment, leaving lasting impressions on those around them. Their emotional range is vast and dynamic, spanning from intense joy to passionate excitement. In social gatherings, their magnetic personality naturally makes them the center of attention. In professional settings, they excel at engaging others and creating emotional connections. Their personal relationships are characterized by deep emotional investment and intense connections. Their daily interactions follow distinct patterns that reflect their charismatic, dramatic nature. Erikson emotional engagement creates dramatic moments, influences group dynamics, expresses feelings openly. The charismatic dramatic personality type manifests in 3 distinct subtypes, each with unique characteristics and patterns. The social charismatic subtype is primarily focused on gaining recognition and approval from others. They excel in social situations, strategically managing their emotional displays to maintain status and influence. The romantic charismatic subtype seeks intense emotional connections and deep intimate relationships. They experience and express emotions with great depth, often through artistic or creative means. The extreme charismatic subtype experiences the most dramatic emotional fluctuations. Their emotional expression is characterized by intense peaks and valleys, with rapid shifts between states. Let's examine how each subtype's emotional patterns differ. The social charismatic shows more controlled, moderate emotional fluctuations. The romantic charismatic experiences deeper, more sustained emotional states. The extreme charismatic displays rapid, intense emotional shifts. Now, let's compare their behavioral patterns in social situations and decision-making. Each subtype's unique characteristics influence how they navigate relationships and make choices. The attachment patterns of charismatic dramatic personalities form a distinct cycle of emotional needs and responses. Their emotional regulation shows significant fluctuations, particularly in relationship contexts. In relationships, they experience an intense need for connection while simultaneously fearing abandonment. This creates complex relationship dynamics characterized by intense emotional bonds and underlying fears. Their attachment style creates a cascade of emotional and behavioral patterns in relationships. These patterns stem from early attachment experiences and continue to influence their adult relationships. Charismatic, dramatic individuals often develop specific defense mechanisms to cope with emotional challenges. These mechanisms can range from mild to intense, affecting their emotional regulation. Many find themselves caught in a cycle of seeking external validation to manage their emotions. However, there is a clear pathway for growth and development of healthier coping strategies. Therapeutic approaches like mindfulness and dialectical behavior therapy provide valuable tools for emotional regulation. Let's explore the fascinating personality type known as the Dynamic Strategist. At its core, the Dynamic Strategist is characterized by 4 key elements that shape their personality and behavior. The first key element is strategic thinking, which involves careful planning and analytical decision-making. Social maneuvering represents their ability to navigate complex social situations with adaptability and awareness. Complex childhood experiences often serve as the foundation for developing these strategic abilities. And finally, avoidant attachment patterns shape how they approach relationships and emotional connections. Let's examine how strategic thinking manifests in the Dynamic Strategist. Their social maneuvering abilities allow them to adapt and influence their environment effectively. Complex childhood experiences often lead to the development of unique coping mechanisms and adaptations. These early experiences typically result in avoidant attachment patterns, characterized by emotional distance and self-reliance. The development of a dynamic strategist follows a distinct timeline, beginning in early childhood. From early pattern formation to conscious adaptation in adulthood, each stage builds upon the previous one. Now that we understand the basic framework of the dynamic strategist, let's explore how these traits manifest in different subtypes. The social strategist excels at building and maintaining extensive social networks. They follow a systematic process in building relationships, starting with quick connections and gradually developing trust. Their success relies heavily on their charismatic traits and natural ability to connect with others. Behind their social prowess lie complex internal motivations driving their behavior. However, they face unique challenges in maintaining authentic connections while managing their strategic approach. These characteristics shape how the social strategist navigates relationships and influences their environment. The calculated strategist operates through careful planning and behind-the-scenes influence. Their analytical process follows a systematic approach to understanding and influencing their environment. Unlike direct communicators, they prefer to influence through a network of carefully managed relationships. Their behavior patterns show distinct differences from more spontaneous personality types. Their planning process is methodical and thorough, considering multiple variables and potential outcomes. In social settings, they maintain a calculated distance while exercising influence through subtle means. This calculated approach allows them to maintain control while minimizing direct confrontation. The avoidant strategist operates through a complex network of indirect relationships. They maintain control through carefully managed distance, creating layers of protection around themselves. While others may approach situations directly, the avoidant strategist prefers indirect paths of influence. Their influence strategy follows a systematic approach, moving from information gathering to system control. Their defense mechanisms form a sophisticated barrier, protecting them while maintaining influence. Rather than direct control, they influence through systems, processes, and structures. These patterns of indirect influence and strategic distance define the avoidant strategist's approach. Let's examine the common challenges faced by strategic personalities. For each challenge, there are specific strategies we can implement to maintain both effectiveness and authenticity. The key is finding balance between strategic thinking and authentic expression. Let's remember these key points as we continue our journey of growth and self-discovery. Thank you for exploring these important aspects of strategic personality development. The inner engineer personality pattern develops in response to a demanding environment that emphasizes achievement and perfection. This pattern emerges from an environment filled with high expectations and pressure to achieve. In response, the individual develops a deep need for control and order as a survival mechanism. This need for control manifests in daily routines and behaviors, creating rigid patterns and detailed schedules. These patterns deeply affect self-perception, creating a constant internal pressure to maintain perfect control and achievement. These patterns become deeply ingrained adaptive behaviors, shaping how the person approaches every aspect of life. The critical engineer constantly searches for flaws and imperfections. They develop a sharp eye for identifying defects, leading to frequent self-criticism and criticism of others. This critical nature often affects their relationships with others, creating distance and tension. The critical engineer uses criticism as a defense mechanism to maintain a sense of control. However, this constant criticism can significantly impact their self-esteem and self-worth. The anxious engineer is paralyzed by fear of failure, creating a cycle of perfectionism and avoidance. Projects often stall at the beginning, as the fear of not meeting perfect standards prevents taking the first step. The perfectionism meter stays consistently high, making it difficult to start or complete tasks. Intrusive thoughts and fears create a constant stream of self-doubt and hesitation. This leads to consistently choosing safety over taking necessary risks for growth. The cycle continues as each avoided challenge reinforces the fear of failure. The driven engineer channels internal pressure into constant achievement and work. They maintain high energy levels initially, pushing themselves to achieve more and more. Their to-do list constantly expands as they take on more responsibilities and set new goals. However, this constant drive leads to gradual energy depletion and potential burnout. Despite achievements, they struggle to feel genuine satisfaction, leading to stress and exhaustion. The internal pressure to achieve more intensifies, creating a self-perpetuating cycle. Each type of inner engineer develops unique defense mechanisms to cope with internal anxiety. The critical engineer relies on perfectionism and control. The anxious engineer uses avoidance and overplanning, while the driven engineer copes through constant activity. The path to healing begins with recognizing these patterns. Next, we must learn to accept imperfection as a natural part of life. Developing self-compassion helps break the cycle of harsh self-judgment. Finding balance between achievement and well-being is crucial for long-term success. Practicing mindfulness helps us stay present and reduce anxiety about future performance. Let's explore some practical tools for daily healing practice. These tools include daily meditation, journaling, setting healthy boundaries, celebrating small wins, and taking regular breaks. Remember, your inherent worth is not measured by achievements alone. Healing is a journey, not a destination. By implementing these strategies consistently, you can develop a healthier relationship with your inner engineer. Welcome to our exploration of the sensitive dreamer personality type. The sensitive dreamer is characterized by a uniquely deep emotional world and heightened sensitivity to their environment. Their emotional world is like a deep pool with layers of feelings and intuitive understanding that others might not perceive. They experience emotions with great intensity and depth, from joy to sadness, love to fear, all colored by their unique perspective. The sensitive dreamer's personality often develops from early life experiences, particularly those involving inconsistent emotional responses from caregivers. In response to these experiences, they develop sophisticated emotional defense mechanisms. These mechanisms include emotional distancing, internal processing, and creative expression. This development process begins with their innate sensitivity, is shaped by environmental experiences, and leads to unique adaptive responses. The creative dreamer expresses their deep emotional world through various forms of artistic expression. Their brain naturally processes emotions through creative channels, transforming feelings into art. This can manifest in multiple forms of artistic expression, each serving as a unique emotional outlet. Their creative process follows a natural cycle of feeling, processing, creating, and expressing. Creative dreamers possess unique characteristics that enhance their artistic expression. Their emotional depth creates layers of meaning in their artistic work, each layer revealing a different aspect of their inner world. The hesitant dreamer develops protective emotional barriers due to past experiences. These individuals develop specific patterns of avoidance to protect their sensitive emotional core. In relationships, the hesitant dreamer maintains a careful emotional distance. They often engage in an approach avoidance pattern, simultaneously desiring connection while fearing vulnerability. The hesitant dreamer faces several key challenges in relationships. However, they can develop healthy coping mechanisms to navigate these challenges. The dramatic dreamer experiences emotions with exceptional intensity. Their emotional states can range from extreme euphoria to deep despair. These intense emotions manifest in various behavioral patterns. Various situations can trigger intense emotional responses in the dramatic dreamer. In response to these triggers, the dramatic dreamer typically shows several characteristic behaviors. The dramatic dreamer faces several challenges in regulating their emotions. All sensitive dreamers share three core characteristics that shape their experience of the world. The first shared trait is difficulty with direct emotional expression. This manifests in several ways. Next, all types share a deep need for meaningful connection, though they may pursue it differently. The third shared characteristic is their heightened sensitivity to their environment and others' emotions. Let's explore effective coping strategies that can help sensitive dreamers thrive. These strategies focus on balancing emotional needs with practical boundaries. Sensitive dreamers possess unique strengths that can be powerful assets when properly channeled. These natural abilities can lead to exceptional achievements in various areas of life. In conclusion, sensitive dreamers can transform their unique traits into powerful tools for personal growth and connection with others. By embracing these characteristics and implementing effective strategies, sensitive dreamers can thrive while staying true to their nature.